The interrogation room was different now. Vexnar sat across from John, but the power balance had shifted. No guard stood at the door. The restraints were gone. "You killed Zarketh," Vexnar said. It wasn't a question. The facility exploded. "We both should have died." John touched the burn scars on his face. "I got lucky." He didn't. 3 weeks had passed since Europa. The Krell Civil War had erupted across their empire. The Separated, inspired by human resistance, fought against the Dominion. Old grievances surfaced. Subject species rebelled. "Your testimony will be broadcast to all Krell worlds," Vexnar explained. "They need to understand what this war has cost both sides." John nodded. "Where is my wife?" "Safe, with the human fleet, as agreed." Outside the viewport, space battle raged. Krell fought Krell while human ships provided support to the rebels. The tide had turned. "Tell me what happened after Europa," Vexnar said, activating the recording device. John closed his eyes, remembering. The explosion had torn through the command center. He had dragged Zarketh's body through burning corridors, determined to bring proof of the commander's death. Lisa and Mevlak had secured an escape shuttle. They found John half dead, still clutching Zarketh's insignia. "We barely made it off Europa before the whole facility went up," John told Vexnar. "But we had what we needed. Proof that the war was based on lies. The data they recovered revealed everything. The Dominion's plan to seize Earth's resources. The deliberate provocation at the first contact meeting. The experiments on human prisoners. We broadcast the truth to every ship in the fleet," John continued. "Human and Krell alike." That was when the fighting stopped, just for a moment. When Krell soldiers learned they had been deceived by their leaders, when the Separated gained thousands of new allies overnight. "Your species is strange," Vexnar said. "You could have destroyed us all, taken revenge." "Some wanted to," John admitted. "But most of us just wanted the killing to stop." The door opened. Lisa entered, followed by Mevlak. John stood and embraced his wife. Her strength had returned. The haunted look in her eyes was fading. "The council is ready," Mevlak announced. "They await your testimony." They walked together to the great chamber of the Krell flagship. Representatives from both Krell factions sat alongside human delegates. The First Galactic Council. John stepped forward to address them. The chamber fell silent. "I am not a diplomat," he began. "I'm a soldier. I've killed many Krell, and Krell have killed many humans. We've all lost too much." He looked at the faces around him, alien and human, former enemies. "But we've learned something from each other. The Krell learned that conquering a species isn't the same as defeating their spirit. And humans learned that not all aliens are enemies." John gestured to Mevlak. "Without the Separated, Earth would have fallen. They risked everything to help us, not because they had to, but because it was right." The council members murmured among themselves. "The war is over," John continued. "But rebuilding trust will be harder than fighting. It will take time, patience, understanding." 5 years later, John stood on the observation deck of the joint human-Krell station orbiting Earth. Lisa worked beside him, leading research into combining their technologies. Vexnar approached, now serving as ambassador to Earth. "The last Dominion holdouts surrendered today," the Krell announced. "The war is truly over." John nodded, watching ships move peacefully through space. Human vessels alongside Krell craft, working together. "There's something I never told you," Vexnar said quietly, "about why the Dominion feared humans so much." "What's that?" "An ancient prophecy about a species that would unite the galaxy, not through conquest, but through their strange ability to turn enemies into allies. A species that embraced death yet cherished life more fiercely than any other." John smiled. "Sounds like a lot of responsibility." "Your species is ready for it," Vexnar replied. "That's what frightens us most, and what gives us hope." Below them, Earth turned slowly, scarred by war but healing, just like its people, just like the galaxy itself. Drop your weapons, Zarketh ordered. His voice was cold, mechanical through the translator. Or the female dies. John's finger tightened on the trigger. 20 feet separated him from Lisa, too far to reach her before the Krell could act. How did you know we were coming? John asked, buying time. Zarketh made a sound like grinding metal. A Krell laugh. Your human command structure is compromised. General Harris sends his regards. The betrayal hit John like a physical blow. Harris, who had recruited him after Mars, who had given him this mission. John, don't give up, Lisa called out. Her face was thin, marked with small scars, but her eyes burned with the same strength he remembered. Zarketh moved closer to her. Fascinating creatures, humans. We studied hundreds, trying to understand what makes you fight when defeat is certain. John glanced at Mevlak. The rebel Krell gave an almost imperceptible nod. And what did you learn? John asked, slowly lowering his weapon. That your greatest strength is your greatest weakness. Zarketh touched Lisa's face with a clawed hand. She flinched. You form attachments you love. It makes you predictable. In one fluid motion, Mevlak threw something across the room. A flash grenade. The lab erupted in blinding light. John fired 3 shots. 2 Krell guards fell. He charged forward as chaos erupted around him. Rebel Krell fought Dominion soldiers. Alarms blared. Zarketh grabbed Lisa, dragging her toward a rear door. John pursued, dodging energy blasts that melted the metal walls around him. John! Mevlak shouted. The rebel leader was pinned down, wounded. Go! John hesitated for only a second before continuing after Lisa. The corridor ahead split in 2 directions, left toward the shuttle bay, right toward the command center. Zarketh had gone right. John followed, his boots echoing on the metal floor. The command center doors were sealed. John placed breaching charges and took cover. The explosion ripped through the reinforced metal. Inside, Zarketh held Lisa in front of him as a shield. Behind them, a massive view screen showed the battle raging in space above Europa. Earthships fought desperately against the Krell Armada. Your planet burns while you chase one female, Zarketh said. This is why you will lose. You're wrong, John replied. It's why we'll win. A commotion behind him. Mevlak was dragged in by Krell guards, bleeding from multiple wounds. The traitor and the human, Zarketh said. Perfect. He pushed Lisa to the floor and drew a ceremonial blade. Now choose, human. Your mate or your ally. One lives, one dies, you decide. John looked from Lisa to Mevlak, the rebel Krell who had saved him, the wife he had thought lost forever. Don't do it, John, Lisa said. Don't let him make you choose. Zarketh pressed the blade against Lisa's throat. 10 seconds. John lowered his weapon. Take me instead. No, Lisa cried. Zarketh tilted his head. Interesting. Self-sacrifice. Another human trait we observed. Let them go and I'll tell you everything about Earth's defenses. The Krell commander considered this. Very well. He gestured to his guards. They released Mevlak, who collapsed to the floor. John, don't, Lisa begged. It's okay, he told her softly. I know what I'm doing. As the guards moved Lisa and Mevlak toward the door, John caught his wife's eye. A silent message passed between them. The same look they had shared countless times during their years together. Trust me. The moment the door closed behind them, John activated the device hidden in his palm. A signal jammer. The command center's communications went dead. What is this? Zarketh demanded. You wanted to understand humans, John said, advancing on the Krell commander. Here's your final lesson. The view screen behind them flickered. A new fleet appeared. Earth's last reserves, joined by ships of unfamiliar design. Those are separated vessels, Zarketh said in disbelief. Fighting alongside humans? You said attachments are our weakness, John replied, but they're also our strength. We make allies. We inspire loyalty. Something your Dominion never understood. Zarketh lunged with his blade. John sidestepped and grabbed the alien's arm. They crashed into the control panel. Your fleet is finished, John said as they struggled. And there's one more thing you should know about humans. What? Zarketh hissed. John smiled grimly. We keep our promises. He slammed the Krell commander's head against the panel. That was for Mars. The ship shuddered as explosions rocked the facility. The self-destruct sequence Lisa had activated during her captivity, just as they had planned. John woke to pain and darkness. The shuttle lay broken on Europa's icy surface. Warning lights flashed red. The air smelled of burned metal and blood. Alex, he called out, pushing debris aside. No answer. He found Diaz first, dead from a broken neck. Rodriguez and Chen were also gone. Only Alex still breathed, trapped under a collapsed panel. They knew we were coming, Alex whispered as John freed him. Someone sold us out. Outside, Krell search parties would be closing in. The shuttle's emergency beacon blinked weakly. We need to move, John said, helping Alex to his feet. Can you walk? Barely. They gathered what weapons remained and stepped out onto Europa's frozen surface. The Jupiter system stretched above them, a vast panorama of stars and the giant planet itself, beautiful and deadly. The research facility is 5 miles north, John said, checking his nav unit. We stick to the plan. They trudged through ice fields, hiding whenever Krell ships passed overhead. Alex grew weaker with each step. Leave me, he said after collapsing a third time. Complete the mission. John refused. No one gets left behind. A sound made them freeze. Movement behind a ridge of ice. John raised his weapon. Do not fire, human, came a voice. Not Krell, but something else. We are not your enemy. 3 figures emerged. They looked like Krell but different, smaller, with markings John had never seen before. I am Mevlak, said the leader. We have been watching you. John kept his gun aimed. Give me one reason not to shoot. Because we hate the Dominion as much as you do, Mevlak replied. We are the separated, what you might call rebels. The aliens led John and Alex to a hidden base beneath Europa's surface. Other rebel Krell moved about, working on equipment. Some tended to wounded. Why help us? John asked as they treated Alex's injuries. Mevlak's 6 eyes blinked slowly. The war against humans was never meant to happen. It was engineered by our leaders. What do you mean? The diplomatic incident was planned. Our leaders wanted Earth's resources. They needed an excuse for war. John felt cold rage build inside him. All the death, all the suffering, had been for a lie. There is more, Mevlak continued. Commander Zarketh has become obsessed with humans. He studies your wars, your history. The alien showed John a data screen. It displayed ancient human battles, from Rome to World War II to the lunar conflicts. He grows afraid. In all our conquests, we never faced a species that fights like yours, that endures such losses yet continues. What does he want with the human prisoners? John asked. To understand what makes you fight, what makes you never surrender. John thought of Lisa, trapped in a Krell lab, being studied like an animal. We will help you rescue your people, Mevlak said. In return, teach us to fight like humans. For weeks, John trained the rebel Krell. He showed them guerrilla tactics, how to use terrain, how to strike and vanish. Things that went against Krell military doctrine. Mevlak proved a quick learner. Almost a friend, if such a thing were possible. Your mate, the alien asked one night. You would risk everything for her? Without question, John replied. This concept of love is strange to us. Krell mate for reproduction only. Maybe that's why you'll lose this war, John said. We fight hardest for those we love. Finally, they were ready. A joint strike force of humans and rebel Krell prepared to infiltrate the research facility. Our spy inside has disabled the perimeter alarms, Mevlak reported. We have 30 minutes. They moved silently across Europa's surface, approaching the massive structure built into the ice. John's heart pounded. Lisa was inside, so close now. The entry went smoothly, too smoothly. They encountered no resistance as they moved deeper into the facility. "Something's wrong," John whispered to Mevlak. "Where are the guards?" They reached the central laboratory. The door slid open. Inside stood Commander Zarketh himself, surrounded by elite Krell soldiers. And beside him, strapped to a medical table but conscious, eyes wide with fear and hope, was Lisa. "John," she called out. "Welcome, human," Zarketh said. "I've been waiting for you." The ship rocked with another explosion. Vexnar grabbed his weapon as the door blew inward in a shower of sparks. 3 human soldiers rushed in, faces hidden behind tactical helmets. "John, on your left," shouted a familiar voice. It was Alex Winters, John's second in command. John ducked as Alex fired. The restraints on his wrists shattered. Vexnar lunged forward but was too slow. John grabbed the alien's arm and twisted hard. The interrogator crashed to the floor. "Thought we'd lost you," Alex said, tossing John a weapon. "Not yet." John checked the charge on the gun. "Status? We've taken the bridge. Ship is ours. For now." They moved quickly through the corridors of the Krell battlecruiser. Bodies of alien soldiers lay scattered across the metal floor. The human team had been efficient. "How did you find me?" John asked as they ran. "Your tracker was still active. Command almost wrote you off, but I convinced them you were worth saving." 3 months had passed since that first major battle at Jupiter's moons. The Krell had pushed through the solar system, expecting to crush Earth's defenses easily. Instead, they found humans fought like nothing they had encountered before. While Krell forces advanced in perfect formation, humans struck from hiding places, used asteroids as cover, and employed tactics that made no sense to the logical alien minds. The Krell called it madness. Humans called it guerrilla warfare. John's unit specialized in boarding actions. They studied Krell biology, found weaknesses. The aliens couldn't handle certain sound frequencies. Their vision failed in specific light patterns. Humans exploited every advantage. They reached the hangar bay where a stolen Krell shuttle waited. The rest of the team was already aboard. "Commander Reeves," called out Sergeant Diaz from the pilot seat. "Good to have you back." "What's our target?" John asked, strapping in as the shuttle launched. Alex handed him a datapad. "We captured their command codes during your rescue. We now know the location of their main fleet." The screen showed a massive Krell armada gathering near Saturn. Hundreds of warships. "They're planning something big," Alex said. "And there's more. We found this in their database." The image shifted to show a human woman strapped to a laboratory table. John's heart stopped. "Lisa," he whispered. "She's alive, John, being held at a research station on Europa." John stared at the image of his wife. Her face was thin, her eyes closed. But she was breathing. "Why would they keep her alive?" he asked, voice tight with emotion. "We don't know. But there are others too. Hundreds of humans being held there." The shuttle shuddered as it entered warp space. John gripped the armrest, mind racing. "There's something else," Alex said quietly. "Command intercepted communications from the Krell High Command. They're scared, John. Their commander, Zarketh, has become obsessed with understanding how we fight." "Good," John said. "Fear will make them sloppy." The shuttle emerged from warp near Europa. The icy moon loomed ahead, its surface dotted with Krell structures. "We're not authorized for this mission," Alex warned. "Command wants us to return with the intelligence we gathered." John looked at his team. 6 soldiers who had followed him through hell. "I'm going after her," he said. "Anyone who wants to stay behind can take the shuttle back." No one moved. "Then we go in quiet. Small team. Get Lisa and any other prisoners we can." They approached Europa under stealth. The plan was simple. Land near the facility, infiltrate, extract the prisoners. But as they entered Europa's thin atmosphere, warning alarms blared. "We've been spotted," Diaz shouted. "Multiple hostiles approaching." The shuttle rocked as enemy fire hit their shields. "It's an ambush," Alex yelled. "They knew we were coming." John looked at the tactical display. They were surrounded. "Who knew about this mission?" he demanded. "Only us in command," Alex replied. The truth hit John like a physical blow. We've been betrayed. The shuttle spun as a direct hit damaged the engines. They plummeted toward Europa's icy surface. Brace for impact, John shouted as the ground rushed up to meet them. The metal door slid open with a hiss. John Reeves blinked against the harsh light as two Krell guards dragged him into the interrogation chamber. His muscles ached from the restraints that bit into his wrists. Across the table sat Vexenar, chief interrogator for the Krell Dominion. The alien's six eyes narrowed as John was forced into the chair. Human soldier, Vexenar said through the translator device. Your resistance is pointless. Tell us about Earth's defenses. John spat blood onto the floor. Go to hell. Vexenar's skin rippled with anger. Your species is strange. You fight when you cannot win. John closed his eyes. The memories rushed back. 6 months ago. Before everything changed. The diplomatic chamber on Luna Base had been filled with hope. Humanity's first contact with an advanced alien civilization. The Krell ambassador, flanked by guards, had approached the human delegation. We welcome peaceful exchange, Admiral Frank Porter had said, extending his hand in greeting. The Krell ambassador had recoiled. In their culture, showing an open palm meant deadly threat. The guards reacted instantly. Plasma weapons discharged. John, part of the security detail, had watched in horror as the room erupted in chaos. When it ended, both human and Krell diplomats lay dead. 3 days later, the Krell Dominion declared war on humanity. Your species will be simple to defeat, the Krell Supreme Commander had announced across all Earth channels. Primitive, weak, unprepared. They attacked Mars Colony first. John had been stationed there, overseeing civilian security. The sky turned red as Krell warships descended. Everyone to the emergency shelters, John shouted, guiding terrified colonists through smoke-filled corridors. Children cried. Parents carried what little they could. The ground shook as Krell weapons tore through the dome. Air rushed out. People screamed. John sealed the final shelter door just as the main structure collapsed. He made it to an escape pod with seconds to spare. As the pod launched, he watched Mars Colony burn. You underestimated us, John told Vexenar now, his voice steady despite the pain. That was your first mistake. Vexenar leaned forward. Yet here you are, captured, defeated. Am I? John smiled through broken teeth. The Krell had expected an easy victory. Instead, they found humans fought differently than any species they had conquered before. Humans didn't follow logical battle patterns. They improvised, they sacrificed, they never gave up. After the Mars attack, John had returned to Earth. He stood numb in the military briefing room as the casualty lists scrolled by. Then he saw it, the name that stopped his heart. Lisa Reeves, Mars Colony Medical Director, presumed dead. His wife, gone. General Harris had approached him that day. Reeves, I'm sorry about Lisa, but we need you for something important. What could possibly matter now? John had asked. His world collapsed around him. Revenge, the general said simply. We're forming a special unit, people with nothing left to lose, people who will do whatever it takes. John looked up. When do we start? Now in the Krell interrogation room, Vexenar slammed a clawed hand on the table. Your resistance has cost us thousands of warriors. Tell me how. Tell me your military secrets. John leaned forward, chains rattling. You want to know our secret? You killed the people we loved. You made this personal. An alarm blared suddenly. The room shook. Distant explosions echoed through the ship. Vexenar's communicator crackled with panicked voices in the Krell language. What's happening? Vexenar demanded. The guard's voice trembled. Humans. They're boarding the ship. They're everywhere. John smiled. His team had come for him, just as planned. That's the thing about humans, John said as the lights flickered. We never leave our people behind.